afternoon. Good afternoon. Today I have a lot of stuff I have to do, and so again, just decided. But yeah, just decided a little chat with you guys while I get my thing going on today with the network. But yeah, we are gonna get some food, and again, I brought you guys out with me because I got stuff to do. So So again, I have stuff to do today, so I'm just bringing you guys with me. And I know you guys like the content, so I like to keep it coming for you. And we actually have the interesting thing is we have a lot to talk about, and well, I'm kind of limited on time here, so I'm going to get my food, and we're going to talk, but we'll continue, we'll continue throughout the day, I think, but right now, I'm limited on time here. I'm just gonna get my food. We'll talk. Yep. And now we're gonna discuss a few things. I'll have to get the food and then discuss a few things. Few things. Yep, a few. A few. That's a cool Jeep. Well, not for everyone, right? I think it's cool. It's a truck. It was a truck. It's a Jeep that was a truck. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that biggin. Wish I had that truck. I want it. Yeah, see, now that truck is nice. It's not like it's big, but it's not like, you know what I mean? Like it's cool. That thing will tear through the snow like nothing. It's not like excessive. It's 2 doors too. Well, there's like it's like a half door for the back, I think. But so it's like only 2 doors. So like it ends up being a shorter. That's the SVT, I think. Pretty cool. That's the Raptor. Love Raptors, man. Be right back. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to all of you. I got a bowl here, and we got a beverage. I'm gonna try this. I'll let you know. This is the, I think it's the Sunset Sky. It's like a passion fruit one. That's good. I like that. It's really good. Crispy, warm. Good flavor. Potatoes are hot too. Good. So. It's fun. It's fun playing through Symphony of the Night again and rediscovering things that I forgot about. You know, like just seeing it again and going, "Oh yeah, that's right, that's great," and you know, just remembering why the game was awesome. You know. Even as I'm sitting here, I have like the librarian music in my head, the do 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 do. It's just in my head for some reason. Like the music that plays when you go in. It's like just in my head. And then of course, doom doo doo doo, doom doo 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 doo. That was always gonna get in my head. Really fun time playing through again. I'll be honest with you, when I faced that boss, I didn't expect to beat him. I really thought I wouldn't, and I would need to level up a little bit more. First time I faced him, I beat him off stream. That's why like I didn't stream it, and I was like, crap, all right, I beat him, that's fine, I'll just get on stream now. That's why, because I played him all I was leveling up off stream, and then I was just like, all right, I'll see what the scaling is like now. And it was like much easier, even just leveling up like 2 or 3 levels, I think I did. And again, I beat him in first try. Just there's that much more health to recover from things. Use my shield, that sort of thing. And sometimes when you enter that fight, you just start like getting hit right away. You bring up your shield and do stuff. You don't have the health. This won't last. But I mean, I'm not like the best at it either, so it's not like I'm claiming to, like have awesome, like really good abilities at the game or anything. It was definitely one of those ones I played a lot on PlayStation, first one. First PlayStation. Among many other titles. So just rediscovering that on PS5 as I play stuff and all that, and Gran Turismo was a game I played a lot too. So it's cool to play the new one, and just see how it's evolved over the years, and kept up with the times, and kept people happy. I'm pretty happy with the new one. Newer. I mean, it's what, like 2 years old now, right? Something like that. But like it's newer. I like it. And it reminds me a lot of the way the driving and stuff was in the first and second game. You guys are probably like, well, why don't you ever play fighting games or anything like that, since you're, martial arts instructor and all that? I'll be honest with you, it's just because I was never any good at it. Some of them are easier than others, and I actually liked a lot of the DBZ fighting games. You guys know I've streamed a couple of DBZ fighting games, and I like the one, but again, nothing. It's so hard to get even close to the quality that the Budokai series was, the Tenkaichi and all that. So obviously I've heard really good things about Sparking Zero, and obviously I'm sort of late to the party on that too. But again, I was never trying to like play fighting games because they just suck out. I was just never any good, so why would I play that? The funny, it's kind of amusing that folks think it translates too. Like, no, I mean, Zakk Wylde flat out admitted that he tried to play Guitar Hero with his kids because they were playing or something like that, and he just sucked at it. And then flat out stopped and went and picked up the real thing and started, shredding because he got mad and started just playing the real thing, So, the point is, yeah, it's a good thing because it inspires you to do the real thing. But, I was just never any good at those fighting games. It really wasn't. I played Soul Calibur on Dreamcast. That was the game I had on Dreamcast. That I liked. That was really fun. It did martial arts justice because it flat out a lot of the movements, I should say, were real martial arts, real kung fu. Versus a lot of the fantasy stuff that you get that's based on real martial arts. So yeah, real martial arts, but it's sort of fantasy. Like, So why don't I play the game Sifu? I actually did. Excuse me. I actually did. This was one of those games where I didn't see it as a bad game, but it was a game I didn't care for. And as I played it, I kind of really was just, it irritated me even more. So I also saw that was my own opinion, and I walked away from it, and I don't want to sit there as a martial artist, a martial arts instructor, and this game that other people might like. You know, I don't see it as a bad game. I just personally thought it was very restrictive, and the camera angle movement was freaking terrible. And so it just made it really difficult to see what I was doing and have fun playing the game. And then again, a lot of the combinations and stuff were very automatic. So yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion, but again, it's my opinion. I thought it was good, and I thought other people would probably like it. So that's where I can sit there and I can see why other people might like that, and just know I won't. You know, just know I won't. And I've changed my opinion of things. Like, obviously, I play Dark Souls like games now too, versus before I really didn't play stuff like that, and I can even enjoy it. So yeah, that's why I don't really make a habit of playing fighting games, because it's not like I grew up with that being a thing that I did or anything like that. So I'm not going to sit here now and try to pretend like it was something I did just because I'm a martial arts instructor. That's the point. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have any room to talk about fighting games, because again, I can sit there and break down the martial arts. I can do that for you. Other people have already done that, though. They've already done it. Some of it's pretty good. I actually do plan to still do a little bit of it, but minimal. Because some of the content out there for breaking it down is actually pretty good. And so there's really not much I have to say about it. And then at the same time, most of that stuff in fighting games is advanced level stuff that most regular people aren't going to pull off in a real fighting scenario anyway. So why are you, you know what I mean? Like, why are you trying to graduate to black level or you know, whatever off the internet? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of my point, is like a lot of that stuff, unless you're really skilled, years of training, you're not going to pick it up from a video anyway. Maybe a little bit, but you won't understand the actual application. You're just learning the movements. And that's kind of my problem with a lot of that stuff, is like, you can't teach application through digital over the internet. You really can't do it. You have to be there. You have to feel momentum. You have to do blocking drills. You have to do the conditioning. You have to do the footwork drills. You have to do the stances. You have to actually do the drills and get the critique from the instructor, you know, back and forth. You have to do those things. There's only so much you can self-taught with martial arts. So that's kind of point. My point is, like, even the self-taught people that claim to be really good and stuff like that, their point of comparison is nothing, basically, because in their eyes they are, but they've never been in a class with other students that have other skills, yada yada yada. You get what I'm saying? Like, they didn't make those comparisons 1,000 times over with all those other people and stuff like that to know where their skill level actually is. They never did that, so they don't have a clue until they actually get into a fight. That's what I get concerned about with these phonies, where, I was talking about that guy that was teaching. He was very clearly not a real instructor and stuff like that. And that's the concern, is essentially like I've talked about before, is if one of them would have a question on practical application on how it would actually apply. Let's say one of them got attacked and the technique didn't work. Now they're going to come to the instructor and ask why and stuff like that. They won't be able to answer it. They won't be able to be like, well, tell me exactly what happened, how big the guy was, exactly what happened, and I'll be able to help you, figure out what went wrong, what you did wrong, that sort of thing. But also, at the same time, that I feel like that wouldn't happen if you were a good instructor. I feel like, again, your students would know where they stand and would know how comfortable they are with certain techniques. If you're a good instructor, you know how to teach that technique to somebody in such a way that they can practically use it in a sensible manner for them. And most instructors, that's the point. They're showing a technique or something like that, one little tiny thing that they got somewhere that they think they know how it works, and they're just showing it. But really, like, that's the point. They weren't taught the sparring drills with this. They weren't taught how to do it in off of different type, punches coming different angles, different ways. Everybody punches different. That's the issue, is that you don't realize is, like, half these guys that claim that they learn kung fu and stuff like that, and then I see them do it. They're doing everything off of a straight punch, and it's like, who punches like that? Kung fu practitioners. So all right, so they have the issue too, the same issue that some of the karate guys have, where all they do is practice against each other and then never go outside of that bracket to know that they're not nobody real punches like that. Yeah, so, like, you have to be able to practice that stuff off of the way a real person would throw a strike at you, and it's gonna maybe be sloppy, maybe be like a boxer, maybe not. And you got to practice all those different things and have those different people to have those experiences with. Now, if you didn't, well, you don't have that wisdom to teach that properly, in my opinion, because you didn't do those things. So, that is what I would teach, and that is how I would learn. Full contact sparring, grappling, all of it. Guys that were boxers, grapplers, full contact. We're talking like big guys, really skilled people all the time. Because if you don't, you're never going to get good at it. You think grappling, what? You just stop when somebody gets thrown? No. Grappling. Like several minutes grappling on the floor, just like, you see a wrestling sport or something like that. Because the point is, you got to learn how to get out of those situations where somebody would pin you down or something like that. If you don't freaking do it, how do you know how to do it? Yeah. So yeah, that's the point. Some classes, yeah, that's what we would do. Just spend an entire hour pairing up with people doing those floor grappling drills and stuff, and learning kung fu and how weight works, and how to use your practical application, your techniques, your stances and stuff, the way you hold your body, and then translate that to floor grappling, to essentially, if you get thrown or you throw somebody, now what? And like what to do in those situations and stuff. I personally, just because, like there's a lot of guys that focus on like holds, things like that. You know what I mean? Like, you can really stylize yourself that way. Like, just the point, just like you have stylized yourself for a stand-up fighting and stuff like that. People gravitate towards this style or something like that, and then that's more your thing. But you can do that too. You can be a stylist with grappling too, where like essentially, if you learn all of it instead of just learning a small picture, you start realizing that you can fill in those blanks with your brain. You can realize that, yeah, the animal styles and like all these other things in martial arts actually do translate to floor grappling and application of momentum, weight distribution, stuff like that. Getting somebody's weight to shift a certain way by doing something, using soft tissue, or like essentially just tweaking something a certain way, and then knowing how to pop the hips, twist, that sort of thing. Just essentially just teaching that, learning how to do that. Because almost nobody, like I've never seen a real, I literally, like, mine was seriously the only, like my instructor and me, and then like anybody that learned under him, and then like that umbrella and stuff like that, were some of the only people that I've met ever that learned real practical grappling in martial arts and could use it. And that's sort of the point, is like are you kidding me with the whole knock somebody over thing? It's like, okay, then they didn't learn grappling if they're worried about being knocked over. You know what I mean? Like, if you're so concerned about having a solid like foundation when you're standing, you don't understand everything, because you should be secure with the fact that somebody's going to knock you over once in a while. And not only that, you should be light on your feet. You should be willing to essentially be light on your feet and shift that footwork around at will. Because again, a solid foundation actually means knowing how to stand and being light on your feet. That's actually what it means. Because think about the physics of it. Put a whole bunch of weight on a pole, and then hit that pole at the bottom, just right at the bottom. What happens? There's no way. Like, the whole thing's just come tumbling down. All right. Okay. You see what I'm saying? But suddenly, you get like some weight. You fasten it to the pole, and then now suddenly the pole has some sort of a system where it can shift around depending on like movement and stuff like that. Now suddenly you whack that pole and it just sort of kind of shifts around and keeps the weight on. That's called being light on your feet. It's called understanding the physics of the situation and understanding what you need to do. So it's like I'd always see these karate guys and these guys that don't know anything about fighting come into school, and like the biggest mistake they would make is they would do exactly that. And solid foundation, and like one of the first times they would spar I would just take advantage, I would show them exactly why you don't do that. I'd just kick their legs out like it was nothing, and just fall right on their ass. They just fall right on their ass. Because you're not understanding the purpose of that stance, the low stance, the solid foundation. You don't get it. You don't get what it's for. You just saw somebody in a martial arts movie do this before a fight, get really low, and so now you think that's how it works. It's so true though. So anyway, just remember, you know, when you're looking at stuff online and you're looking at martial arts movies and you're looking at stuff the way it should be, it's not the way it should be. It's being shown to you by very arrogant people that think they know everything, and I'm sure you guys have seen that already with a lot of people with martial arts. I'm the guy telling you that nobody. I'm the guy telling, like, the humble guy sitting here telling you that I don't like the word master, and that technically nobody masters anything. People should have titles so that they know where they are, know what their skill level is, and know how to improve. And again, like, there's no mastering anything. Anybody that thinks they've mastered something, they have more to learn. That's the point. You can always improve and learn more. They've missed the point if they think they're a master. So the fact that, like, this guy, again, like this guy that's very obviously a phony to me, I was a martial arts instructor a very long time. I would have corrected this instructor on several of his technique flaws if he was in my class. I would have corrected him several things. So the point is, the fact that I can see this and call it out very easily, this guy ain't a master. And he ain't, yeah, like, that's not a title. Like, that's the point. And he's like saying he's kung fu and stuff. Listen, the point is, Bruce Lee, like use Bruce Lee as a great example. He had this trouble too, where because everybody sees martial arts a certain way, they just see it as, they don't understand it really. Because most people don't understand strategy and war tactics and stuff like that. So, like, most people actually just know that the big guy wins. And so, like, most people just get really big. That's actually, truthfully, a lot of it. So, like, the point is, yeah, like that is a tough thing to combat, but Kung Fu does it very easily, actually. And so the point is that if you learn it properly and you actually learn all of it, no, Kung Fu actually does very easily take care of the really large person. Very, very easily. But you have to know how to do it correctly. And it's not hard, but it is at first. It's very hard. Very. For a long time. And then suddenly one day you're just good. And that's what happened. That's literally, like, I mean, I can't even tell you. I know it was sometime around the time where I was just endlessly doing my forms. You know, getting ready for that Black Sash test. You're just endlessly doing my forms to be ready to take over a school and be the next, you know, head instructor and stuff. It was just sometime around there where I was looking in the mirror, and all of a sudden I realized I looked like the guys in the movies. I looked really good doing stuff versus, you know, drastically different, you know, versus like, you know, even just like a year prior to that, even maybe even 6 months. Just at a certain point, I was putting so much time and work into this. I just started, it just happened one day. And yeah, it was so rewarding. It really was. It was so rewarding. And, you know, that's why I'm confident with that stuff, and that's all there is to it. But it is really nice when you put the work into it, and you can see that, and that happens. Give me some gas. This thing keeps. So, I gotta fix my hair too. This last haircut I gotta be honest with you, I had to fix my hair already today. I actually cut about an inch off the front already, and it's still too long. Like, I don't know what people are thinking when they're like, what do they think? I want all this hair in front of my face? No, the whole point is I want it short so it's not in front of my face. So like I have to cut another like probably full inch off the top of my head at some point today, probably. But yeah, I already fixed it today. I already cut off an inch and it still is too long. The point is, I feel like I always personally feel like when somebody very obviously cuts my hair considerably longer than the last time I went to a place that has notes and they can see how long it was, I always kind of feel like they did it on purpose to get me to come back sooner. You know what I mean? Because like you're going to go back sooner if your hair gets, you know what I mean? So my hair already grows really freaking fast. It's like, please cut it short. Like I'm tired of like you can't, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to cut your own hair. You can't cut your own hair. Like, it's tough to cut your own hair. Like, you cut somebody else's hair, but cutting your own hair can be tough. Like, the angles and stuff. And so you just get it done, you know? And so, like, I don't want to have to go get my hair cut constantly. I want to wait a few months. I don't every month want to get a haircut just because it's too long. And you know. That like that's the point. Like I don't want to spike it up and no, like I do that to keep it out of my fucking face because it looks better once it starts getting to this point. It looks better to do that. Like you make it look like I don't think folks that have never had like hair this short kind of get that. So, like, the point is, like, once it gets to a certain point, it's, like, sort of an awkward in-between stage, and you just sort of kind of, like, want it out of the way. So, like, I don't know, like, I just feel like this was a weird length for them to cut. And again, I already cut a full inch off this today. I feel like that's, like, look at this. It's too long, isn't it? It's too long, man. Like, you gotta cut. Like, I'm very obviously a clean-cut guy, and it's this short on the sides. And then this long up top and the front, it just didn't make any sense. And remember, I cut a full inch off earlier today. So I just feel like you don't. I don't know. Maybe they're worried about cutting it too short, and people complain, you know, like, oh, you cut my hair too short, you know, or something like that. It's like, no, I don't, trust me, I will never. I used to buzz my head. Like, that's the point. This is the alternative to that. I can't sit here and cut my own hair very easily. Like, it's not that hard, not that easy to do. It's so awkward to try to cut your own hair. Even hairstylists go get their hair cut a lot of the time. Because it's so hard to just, like, cut the back and see the back. Flat out, to avoid that, I used to just buzz my head. But I don't necessarily want my hair all the same length anymore. That was definitely something I did more when I was martial arts training and stuff like that. Just wanted my hair short. I was always putting a headgear on. Literally always putting a headgear on. So I just also that's when I cut all my long hair off. While it was a little bit of peer pressure at the time, a lot of the reason so my long hair was down to like here, and I was starting to get pretty intense in my martial arts training. And when you do full contact, if you wear a headgear, it's exactly like the wind in a convertible. I shit you not. No matter how hard you tie that back, no matter what you do, and I think everybody with long hair will agree with me, if you try to do martial arts with long hair, no matter what you do, if you wear a headgear, it will somehow work itself out and be in front of your face and stuck there. And so I just started realizing at a rational certain point, if I'm a martial arts instructor anyway, I need to be that person that doesn't have a walking weapon attached to them that an enemy could use against me. You know, like basically my hair was a handle for an enemy. So I had to start looking at that like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna start cutting my hair short because you know what? Yeah, like that's a valid point. And then at the same time, it's getting in my face in the head guard, peer pressure. Like the people at school are just giving me a heck of a time over it. You know, they just people are so fastidious. You know, like they just see the long hair and you know, like you just all kinds of stuff. So it's you know, like you're this, you're that, just because you got long hair. You know, it's not just long hair. It's you're this, you're that. You know, it's so yeah. Eventually, at a certain point, I did just cut the hair and stuck with it. I've definitely gotten to what you guys would call the shag. You know, at certain points where it gets long enough that I need to get it cut, but it's not like it's just getting long at that point. Hello. I gotta get some gas here really quick. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for your support. I think that was nice. You let me go. I'm just gonna get some gas here really quick. In your country, the time is 9:40, so it's like nighttime for you. That's cool. Well, good night to you. It is the middle of the day here. It is the evening. It is about to be the evening, basically. I'll be right back. I'm gonna pump some gas. How much is gas in your country? Ugh. It's like a wind tunnel out there. All the product is like out of my hair. It is so windy today. So I have stuff I have to do today. I'm just thinking. we can probably do like a little bit, you know, like just chatting and stuff as I do some of my chores and stuff throughout the day. Basic stuff I have to do today, but I wouldn't mind helping you guys a little bit with you know, like some of the martial arts stuff. Like I've talked about martial arts stuff before too, on the channel, as far as like basic stuff, like how to think about things, philosophy, you know, like essentially with Kung Fu, a lot of the way that Kung Fu works is actually, technically speaking, is if you're smart, you can technically figure it out, knowing the philosophy and how Kung Fu works, is if you understand the concepts, you can start figuring it out. And so for those who know how to help themselves, for those who want to study something, who want to care about it, for those who understand those concepts when I give them to you, you know, here and there, you know, that is what I do from time to time, is just to kind of help you guys understand certain things. Like, all right, for example, there's been times where I talked about correct defense against like somebody that's like swinging a bat or a knife down at your head, or something. Just any type of weapon, really. It doesn't have to be those things. Just anything really down at your head, like from a downward angle. And essentially talked about the easy way to actually defend against that, and how it you know, it seems intimidating, it seems bad, and so the point is that a lot of the defenses that people do over the years and learn over the years actually would harm them and would work against them if they were shorter or something like that. All the person would have to do is simply just be stronger. And again, they have leverage on you already because they're swinging from a downward angle. So the point is, if you're doing that, why would you do a block where you're trying to stop this? You know, like where you're putting your... I've seen people do that. It doesn't work. I can demonstrate that it doesn't work. I'll just hit you in the head every time. It's not how you do it. It's half the movement. And so, like, essentially, I just started realizing that throughout history, it was very obvious that it, you know, the wars at the time and stuff like that, they were forced to be shown these things, but were shown incorrectly for that reason, so that they could eventually lose in battle and stuff like that. Like, essentially, they were shown wrong to be put in harm's way because they were being forced to show them. So they're going to show it to them wrong, and they weren't going to show it to them right. And so now that we're a civilized world, at least some of us are. Some of us want to live in a civilized world and want to be civilized and want to use it for good and to protect ourselves. The point is, you are probably those people. You are probably the ones that, you know, you take a little extra time to look something up, to get smarter, to research, because the point is, you know, you've evolved and you've realized that, so therefore you clearly have that intelligence. So so that's the point, is for those who do realize it, know how to perceive the knowledge that I'm giving you, you know, you're going to get it, and you're going to understand it, and you're going to do well with it. For those who don't get it, those who want to pick fun at it, think it's, you know, not valid or whatever you want to say about it, that's fine. You know, you're not going to be able to benefit from that then. That's good. Because you would probably use it for harm. So that's sort of the point. And that's kind of how I weeded those people out before too, is you guys, like this, I done this before. The whole point was I didn't want bullies in my school. So that if somebody acted like that, it was weed them out. And I was able to do those things. And people wouldn't come back to try to bully my students, you know. So the point is, to drive the idea home, to remind people that you do know what you're doing, that no, actually it is this way. It's just very affirmative. It's not a strong arm approach or anything like that. I'm just trying to, teach you the right way to do something and the fact of the matter, and then you just chill. Well, okay, go ahead and do the strike that you think that this wouldn't work or something like that. Do it. And then, like, sometimes, no lie, somebody will grab me, like, they'll, like, off a grab, somebody thinks this won't work. And I'll be like, and they'll like, barely grab me. And I'm like, no, like, you're the one that wants me to prove that this is working. Actually grab my shirt like you're grabbing my shirt. Like, don't grab it like a freaking sissy. Grab my shirt. So that way I can show you this is gonna work. And... yeah, like, that's the point. I would really surprise some people. That were, obviously doubters that come into school and stuff like that. And some of those people you don't see again. They don't sign up because the point is they were just confirming something. All they were doing was confirming something. And some of them you do. Some of them, they find a little wiggle room in their budget and they sign up for classes, and it's the best decision they ever made. That's it. I need, like, nose surgery or something. That's my nose. That's because, like 20 times a year, I have so much mucus in my nose that when I'm drinking something, I'm sort of kind of holding my breath. And so once in a while, I'll just start, like, getting this coughing fit because it goes in the wrong way because I'm holding my breath while I'm drinking something. Duh. He didn't have any room to turn. Do you ever have that happen? Just, like, have liquid go down the wrong way. I'm sure you have. Oh my goodness. You gotta hit the chest a few times. That's why, like, I keep a certain amount of tissues in my car too, but I'm out. True story, I'm out with tissues. Look at this, I gotta fix this hair. I do not like it. You gotta fix this. It looks ridiculous. It's unproportional. Top's too long. It's just for me. For me, it's unproportional. Maybe some people will like it. I don't know. For me, it's too long on the top. It's just for me. That's all. Sorry that we lost you. Sorry about that. Alright, let me just grab this. Okay. No, not that. Oh boy. Time for some laundry. I'll do some laundry. I gotta hang my jacket up though. So I gotta hang my jacket up. And I gotta do some laundry. So that's it for my delicates. Man, all right. Pet the cat. That's did that. check that off the list. Check that off the list. Man, yeah, I got some ironing to do, so the sooner this gets done, the better. You can just do this. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Fascinating stuff, right? You're like, oddly enough, I don't mind watching this. Alright, let's have a conversation about some stuff a little bit. Okay, we're gonna have a little conversation. Okay, so, I pulled this out for those of you. You guys have seen a in some of the streams that I've done outside where I have my training mats and stuff from when I used to. By the way, those mats that that was just sections of the floor that we used to have and stuff like that, and so like that was still mine that I still train with, that I use here at the house, and so like that's why we haven't been able to. It's just cold, and so like you guys have seen me do some content out there with my uniform that I typically wear when I would teach. It has the patches on it. It's got the head instructor patch and all that stuff. So that was that one. That was my instructor uniform that I wanted to look a certain way. This was my one that I had over the years that has been through the ringer. And I don't know if you can tell, like, it's not really black. It's like it's like charcoal now. But like here's where you really can see the grappling aspects of essentially what we do. That many times, probably like eventually, like I was probably grabbed by, the like a lapel grab as they call it, essentially like so many times where, like you do the escape and stuff like that. That means I was doing the escape. And so many times people grab me that hard that eventually it just ripped in that spot. Conveniently right there, and so because that's the the proof of that. Essentially, somebody is grabbing here and grabbing here on the front of your shirt on both sides, and constantly you're doing escapes where yeah, it's gonna wrench their arm and yank on the fabric quite a bit. Yeah, eventually, and that's that one spot. It just tore, and so I think that was when I eventually got a new one. But yeah, this thing. This thing was through a lot. Um, this thing was through a lot, as you can see. Um, they just go on right like that, and then you just you guys always see these on, but you just knot them. They're really tight at first, and then they get looser as you do it. Um, so that's it. That's all you do with that. And yeah, again, this was my one that I trained very hard in for many years. Um, so yeah, there you go. And yep, there it is. Yep, makes sense. Um, I don't want to do this too often in here, just in case one of them breaks, because you do have them break once in a while. But for some of you uh, that didn't get to see a lot of what I did with that one stream, I wanted to kind of go over stuff a little bit with these. And the point is that a lot of what you see people do is really fast, nonsensical movements, and a lot of people don't really understand what the purpose of these, sort of is, or how to use them. And so, the point that I was kind of like showing you in some of those streams where I was doing with these was that you really can. Yes, the point is you really can get a move out by doing these spins and stuff like that. But know what they're for. Know why you would do something like that, because honestly, a lot of that is just nonsense to confuse the attacker. A lot of that is just enticing the person to attack a certain way. It's kind of like when you hold up a guard. Whatever stance that you want to have, whatever guard, speaks to you, whatever it is, there's always going to be an opening. Like, you're never not open, but the point is, what opening speaks best to the way that you are best at defending yourself and best at using your skills. And so, the point is that you leave that opening to entice that person to attack that particular spot, because that's what you're best at defending, and your skills are best suited for, So the point is that stance that you have, that's where your opening should be, so it should speak volumes to essentially your skill, and you can use that opening to your advantage. And a lot of what you're doing with these is exactly that. You see the figure eights. You see the really fast figure eights where people are spinning in front.
You know, it's just nonsense. You know, really what matters is that. A lot of this is so that you can bring it back and hold on to it again and attack again. Because when it's out here, it doesn't help you. You know, when it's out here, what are you going to do with this? You know, it's sort of kind of loosey-goosey. So you bring it back. And a lot of these can be hits where you're hitting up. You know, I can reach that. I can hit up. So you want to essentially, when you're doing this, and yeah, it's body conditioning. Yes, I'm hitting my body every time I do that. It's how you do it. It's how it's taught. It's how you do it. That's how everybody does it that does it. That's how it works. That's how this one's designed. So you will. It does require a certain amount of body conditioning for it, but also want to remember that it's like meaty areas, you know, like it's like like shoulder blade, you know, like it's not, you're not like whacking yourself either. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to explain. It's sort of like the way you do it. You're deadening that blow. You're not really taking it necessarily. You're kind of pulling up, you know, as it hits. You're kind of pulling up slightly, almost like when any of those instructors out there are actually instructors when you're sparring, and you know you're doing those strikes, and you know, like, you're not necessarily trying to hit hard. You're pulling the strikes because you're sparring. You're not hitting hard. So you're kind of like, yeah, you're throwing it maybe a decent speed, but you're kind of pulling it right before you hit, so that it doesn't hit so hard. You know, like that sort of thing. It's like it's kind of like that where you're kind of like learning control with your hand. You're pulling it a little bit the opposite direction right before it hits, and you are kind of learning that back and forth sort of stop go with these things. And that, my friend, is how you can translate these to grappling. So anyway, a lot of what you're doing with the side to side, and you guys see me do this, it's this. I realize I'm doing it fast. So again, it's you're coming straight down with these movements. You wanna still think about this, like, all right, like if I come down with a chop, I'm gonna come down with a chop, and it's gonna be right like that, right? So it should still, your arm should still move exactly like, yeah, the weapon should move exactly like it's, you know, think about it like a chop. You know, it's going to do the same thing practically, maybe, as a chop. So the point is, I say maybe because maybe there's a few other things. So the point is, if you do that, you want that to simulate your chop. So that's how you can translate this to understanding that. Also, a jab, but like more of a boxer jab. You know, something kind of like that, where it just comes straight out. You know, so it's when you see this, that's what you're seeing, and a lot of times these guys, they're doing this. You know, it's not, these aren't hits. These are not hits. It's just to confuse you. It's just to keep it going so that they can whack and bring it back around. So when you're doing this, and you're learning the circles and stuff like that, and you're doing these circles, you want to remember that this is just to keep it moving. And then each one of those are downward cross slashes. So essentially, The reason you're doing these is because, let's say somebody with a sword or somebody with like a lot of really long attacks and good knowledge on how to use those attacks starts attacking you, right? So essentially, from the weapon standpoint, then, if you see those coming, you can start kind of hitting down, 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 down. So basically, as those are coming at you, whatever they are, whatever they are, you know, like whether it be like long fist attacks, you know, something like that, whatever they are, the point is you can hit down and slowly back up, slowly move to the side, back up, while moving to the side. Don't just ever back up straight. You know, and still get those figure eights in there and keep your thing moving, keep your nunchucks moving. So that way, you know, you're blocking down. Essentially, that's what you're doing with that. It's down, down. Anybody that knows martial arts, especially my students, knows. Okay? So, you know exactly what I'm doing. Okay? Okay? Remember? Remember that? Falling hammers and stuff like that. Okay, so, and then that's the point, is this weapon's not perfect. You will screw up. So like, if I have like a lazy, weird thing where I kind of go like, gotta go like this, just whip it right back and chamber it. It's the same thing with 3-sectional staff. It's the same thing with chain whip. It's the same thing with anything that's going to have this, where it's like your control of this is your control of this. So realize sometimes that's not going to translate. Sometimes you're going to use your other hand and things are going to happen. Okay, so if that happens, you do a little bit of a weird thing, or it gets blocked. It gets slashed out of the way. Wham, wham. Okay? You can just really quick chamber that. I know that word. People are laughing at that word. That's like ingrained in my brain. That's essentially what, you know, like those of us that are instructors over the years just called it, you know, something that you bring back, you know, into the body. You know, for purposes of possibly next attack, you know, like so as to not project, so as to not leave it out there, so as to not, you know, that sort of thing, you know. So the point is, yeah, you don't want this out here. So, you know, boom, boom, you know, that's your guard, you know. With this is fine, but just realize that your first attack is that. And you're still coming back to this to maintain control. So just remember, like, you're still gonna have, or both hands. That's fine, so that you can switch. Like that's fine. Yeah, like all right, like you want to hold with both hands so that way you can confuse your opponent and be like, ha ha, that's right, I can do both hands, ha ha, you know. So like that, great, I love it, you know. And honestly, you should learn this with both hands. I have doubles. I did. Highly recommend it. It's not going to make sense to you if you don't. So that's actually kind of the problem. A lot of people don't learn this with both hands. I had to learn. I was doing this. You know, like, so like the point is, it taught me a lot doing it that way. And, you know, I appreciate the care in doing that. So you're gonna, it's not gonna, this weapon, each weight's gonna be different, so, you know, it's not gonna, see what I mean? This one's super light, so it just sort of flaps around. I have to really, really tuck it in. But yeah, like the idea is, all right, so like let's talk about an across. So if you want to do an across, I'd recommend you come in. This is a good way to practice this. Come in, out, back, down. So again, across, out, back, down. Cross, out, back, down. Across, out, back, down. Across, out, back, down. Across, out, back, down. So again, if you think about this practically, what I could be doing there is dodging and shifting, using this to actually block something. But the point is dodging and shifting. And then the second that I have that low leverage, I flick back. So like, let's say the sword is sticking out right here. So I shifted, I might have like, it might have grazed my shoulder. Now I'm gonna flick that sword away. Does that make sense? Like, crap, sword, flick, get the heck off me, you know? Does that make sense? That's how weapon combat works. So, you know, you have to think about it. Yeah, the most basic way that it translates to your martial arts application. You know, that's all I do. If that makes sense. Yeah, like I try to like, all right, what's somebody gonna use? You know, like that I'm using this against or something like that. And oftentimes I arrive, you know, like at a sword or something like that in my mind where it's like, yeah, like that would definitely be a good thing to learn a defense off of. And I wouldn't be happy with to see if I had these and somebody had a sword, I'd be like, crap, you know, like I better pay attention, you know? You know, that sort of thing where it's like, okay, yeah, like I gotta learn that, you know, that wouldn't be good. And then at the same time, these are great for disarming the sword. So then that kind of goes hand in hand too at the same time, you know, like you just think about it like that. You think, wow, okay, you know, like they really would work well. And so like that's the point is if you sort of shift and then you slash, you know, the point is, you want that hit to hit the hand, like right there. So like if they're holding a sword, when you come across, that hit's gonna whack that hand and just smack it open. It's like a sword's gonna go fucking flying. Maybe you'll even catch it in your other hand if you're good enough. Seriously, it will work. But the point is, you got to hit the hand. Don't just hit the sword. Depending on the sword, you'll just wreck with what you have. But you hit the hand. You just busted his fingers wide open. Just so. Okay. Also, learn this for coordination. Like it's good for coordination to learn that, to do that. It's a nice little coordination drill. But never grab like in combat, never grab the other one. Like it's too slow. Don't do that in front of somebody. This is not for that. This is for training. If you see somebody do that, they don't know. No. This. Period. End of discussion. I have control of this now. Like this, like where it's all loosey goosey, not so much. But like, the point is, if that happens and you need to really quick, you know, like it's that simple. You know, like you might even like I did there where I didn't grab it at first. The point is, it really is quick. Doing this where you have to like stare at it. Nope. And that's the point. You should never do. You're not ever looking directly at anything. You're looking at your opponent. If you don't know that, you don't know. Sorry, but you better go back to square one. So anyway, that's a lot of what you're doing with that, where you're coming across the side. It's, you know, it's intended for like kind of disarmament purposes and stuff like that. Also, there's times where you will do the figure eights, you'll do the spins in front, you know, to get them to move backward. You know, for the same reason that you would do this. You know, just like you saw Donnie Yen doing it, man. The guy just like tipped backward. That's the point. It's so overwhelming. Just all at once. It's just in your face. All this. You know, it's just all at once. It's just right in your face. You just kind of tip backwards. You don't expect it. So that's the point. Is just to be complete explosion of figure eights and all that. So they can be used for that too. But just realize that if you're against somebody skilled, don't do that crap. Just, it's showboating. Most people will wait for a clear window and just get one good hit in and you're done. Don't do that crap. Just saying. So anyway, what else can we? I mean, there's so many things. I'm just trying to be basic. I'm not trying to be, you know, too advanced with anything. Like obviously, like we could talk about that too. We could talk about like spinning and stuff too, but we don't. Yeah, I mean, like we don't need to talk about that necessarily. Like that is what it is. Like either. I mean, just. Yeah, I mean, like just look at it. It's literally a spin. I mean, it is what it is. You know, you get what I'm saying. Like, what else am I gonna tell you about that? Practice it. You know. You're going out. So, right like that. I'm just catching it there. It's the underhand method of using nunchucks. And by the way, you're gonna chamber like this with your other hand. When you're using these like this, I mean, you can tuck it like this and sort of kind of whip it back, but realize it's not going to work too well. What you want to do is you want to chamber with your other hand when you're using the other hand. That way you can just whip straight out. And like I will never understand why, you know, it's really as simple as understanding that you're not going to get the same out. Like you can't bend your arm that way, so you can't chamber it that way. So you just want to use your other hand when you're going underhand. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time like that. It's really just mainly for blocking and then switching hands. And now I have it on this other hand and I'm good. Does that make sense? Like you're not going to stay underhand too long. It's just a defensive thing. Like, oh, I needed to block this way, and because he hit my thing, I quick caught it. Like the whole point is that you practice this so that when it gets hit out of your hand, you can quick grab it. You have that muscle memory ingrained so that you do this like 8 million times, you can quick grab it. That's the point. So like if this starts to fall out of your hand, you have it ingrained to grab it. That's how that works. That's how those. Okay. Remember that. Okay. That translates to a bunch of different things. Okay, just remember that. It's all about the muscle memory. You know, this is like, well, you wouldn't use that. Like, I'm just gonna hit you if you do. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's not what it's for. I know. And anybody that's using it, like this is the point. Is you see a lot of stuff like this where people will use these things that look flashy and stuff like that, and then you see it in a movie or something like that, and then so like the point is, those of us who know what we're talking about, we see somebody use that and then try to use it in a practical way. It's like, well, actually, we kind of know it's not practical to use. It's not what it's for. It's to train you. It's like there was this technique the one time, and basically you can see the maturity of people and whether they trust the art or not, because there was this one time where I was giving somebody a technique. It was a leopard technique, and one of the leopard techniques was just like, how do I say this without giving you the one of the leopard techniques was just like this thing that essentially was that. And the point was that it was really simple. So like people didn't understand like why this was a technique, you know, because it was just simple. It was like, why the hell would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. That's not really a technique. But if you apply the concept I just showed you, where like you think about it like that, where it's to teach you the muscle memory of when you know what I mean, like certain situations, then now if this goes flying out of your hand, see what I'm saying? Like the point is that like your brain is now, because you've done this so many times. The point is that if it goes flying out of your hand, if it goes this way out of your hand, you will now have that muscle memory to flip your hand over and grab the other side, which is basically what you're doing. I was trying to do it slow earlier to show you, but this one doesn't work slow. So the point is, you know, like, that translates. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Basics. You know, that's why Bruce Lee said what he said too, about, you know, like I always forget the quote, but it's something about how like, you know, he doesn't want to fight the guy that can do 100 back kicks or something like that. He wants to fight the guy that can easily do 1,000, you know, like punches or yeah. The idea is that if you can do something more, that's better. You do something simple that's better, and you can do more of it. You're better. You know what I mean? Like that's the point. You have you know, the whole mastering thing is like you have more mastered that. And you haven't completed, like there's no completing a mastery, but like you have mastered it more. You know what I mean? Like, so if yes, like you do want to do the advanced stuff when you're ready for it and stuff like that. But like the point is, if you start acting like those guys, where like you then never go back to the basics, and you don't do those basics regularly, and you don't do them like a ton, your brain will not translate those basics properly with the advanced stuff that you're learning. Because now there's a separation. Now you spent too much time learning the advanced stuff, you know how it works, but now some of the basic stuff doesn't come naturally to you, and you're trying to do these complex movements, but they won't function for you because you don't know the basics as well as you used to. Because it's all built on that. The whole point was that you were supposed to be able to do that stuff that easily to be able to do these advanced level techniques. point is that we were, I was teaching people, obviously like early stuff is always basic. Everybody starts with basic stuff, how to do blocks and certain strikes and kicks and stuff like that. But at a certain point, yeah, all you do is start learning how to combine those and make techniques out of them that mesh well together for a stylist. And then you start learning that stuff and then having specific ones and sets that people will remember throughout the course that they'll do this martial arts. And so thus you start realizing that you do have specific techniques that, like there's specific things that you recognize or patterns that work in a fight for a certain specific style and stuff like that. So then that's what you're going to structure for your techniques, and you're going to name it so that way everybody remembers it. It's a certain way, and stuff like that. You always teach it a certain way as a format, yada yada yada. And the idea is that as people get more advanced, they just add on to that. Like your techniques that are 2 and 3 are now 4 and 5, and when you become black sash level and up, I start being able to show you techniques that are 5, 6, 7. Where you actually have that many movements per technique, versus early on you're only doing like 1 or 2 movements, very simple stuff to kind of guide you along. And now like you're learning all these complex movements later on, and 5, 6, 7 movements at a time, and you get a ton of these, each level. Yeah, you're gonna be unstoppable. So the point is, just structure your practice regimen properly. You want to remember that everything about you as a martial artist and a person really is just all about how good you are at your homework, how good you are at breaking down the things you got to do on your own in a way that works for you to do. And then you got to do it. So, I'm trying to think. Of anything else I need to cover with this, really. I mean, I guess I could. I mean, it's just as simple as reach around the back. You guys kind of understand that, right? For the switch. That's why that's why you're doing the side to side too, to learn. Does that make sense? Because, alright, so like, the idea is that you want to remember that when you're holding this, if you did your side to side this way, like up here for some reason, now you're leaving your guard open. You're leaving your ribs open. So you want to do this down here so that you know what I'm saying? And even if you did it with both, so you see what I mean? The point is that like you're not letting the ribs open because the arm is down. So and then again, I'm going around to switch. Does that make sense? Right there. Unfortunately, I wish I could, like YouTube, and not only YouTube, but like my state, they will not, I can't, if I could, I would I would get out some swords, I would show you all kinds of stuff. I can't do that. Not allowed to do it. Can't do it. And this, just so that you know, is a combat ready. It will spin just as fast. It has the normal bearings and stuff like that. It's weighted the same, but it's for practice only. It's a foam one, and I'm using this on stream instead of a real one again because my state. Trust me, I cannot do that. Can't do it. So, I would love to be able to maybe do that someday. Might require some paperwork and stuff like that once I get the member streams and stuff up. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to do it right, obviously. So the point is, I'm not going to just blindly get on here with a sword, a real sword. So that's why I've always used the foam stuff and the wooden stuff and stuff. Because you can't, you just get, like, so the guys that you see with the content where they're using real stuff, they got permission to do that. Or they're at an event where there's plenty of people there and stuff, everybody can see everybody and everybody, you know, like that's the point. Like they get checked in, yada, yada, yada. There's paperwork there for it and stuff. It's protected. It's an event. It's a little different. Okay, so you have to realize like everywhere you do this and stuff like that is going to have certain restrictions and all that. So you just have to realize that I can't just get on here and show certain things. There's even certain things about martial arts I can't get on here and show you because of that. You have to realize that. So I'm trying to be cautious on how I word things. I'm trying to be, just, essentially informative. A lot of what I do is just so that actually the opposite doesn't happen. People don't go grab these from a thrift store or, that didn't know any better or something like that was selling or like a, like a yard sale or something like that, and somebody picked them up and then irresponsibly used them, didn't know how to use them and hurt themselves or something. The point is that through all of the instruction out there and all the stuff on the internet and stuff, maybe, hopefully, somebody finds my video or something like that and, get some proper instruction and proper control. Because the point is, if somebody has proper control with them, they're less likely, they're always going to try to use the shit. They're always going to do it. Always, always, always. The point is you teach them so that way they don't screw up, make a mistake. The point is, like, they're just curious. So let them be curious about it. And then, they realize how hard it is. They whack themselves in the head enough times with it. They won't want to do it anymore. Trust me. When you do this, you will hit yourself in the head. In the elbow. Oh! That's the one. The elbow, that's the one. For these, for sure. And, trust me. Unless you're serious about martial arts, you won't continue the training on your own unless you, have a reason. And so, obviously I did, having a school and everything, and I was learning martial arts and teaching it and stuff like that. So, for me, it was different. I kept the training. I kept up with it. For me, that was just part of it. I understood that. I dealt with that with my training before. You're talking about a guy that, literally, part of my training was to spar on cinder blocks. So, I wasn't new to, hurting myself during training and stuff, and just being part of the training process. The whole point is that you get stronger from that. You pick yourself up. I realized sparring full contact and bare feet on cinder blocks probably doesn't sound appealing to many people, and there's definitely some stories I could tell you, but that's the member only content, like stuff like that. We'll just have to get there, because again, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you the gruesome details right now. Some of that stuff, that's the memory content, and yeah, I know you guys like the stories and stuff like that. I got plenty of martial arts tales from when I was training, when I owned a school, all kinds of stuff, and funny stuff too. But the gruesome details, yeah, I can't unfortunately say that. So anyway, again, a lot of why you go to the back and train for that too isn't so that you can chamber underneath. It's also so that you can grab back behind. So what you're going to do is, you see how I'm back here? You're going to grab this part here. You're going to try to reach up. It's not always going to happen where you're going to grab here. So just, part of the reason for that is because this thing bounces around so much. So you really want to tuck your hand and cup that. During your training and stuff, you're always going to be grabbing down here and stuff. So what you want to start remembering to do is that as soon as you come around, you see how I kind of like tucked and grabbed and pulled it into my body so it wouldn't move anymore? That's what you want to do. You want to kind of like pull it into your body. Right there. You can do it here. If you grab the chain by accident, like if you go to throw up and you don't, like let's say you grab the chain and it's the middle, like the middle of the fight or something like that. Oops, you're gonna screw up. I screw up. Everybody screws up. The point is, have the knowledge and have the muscle memory and have the knowledge base to be able to recover from that and do something because of it. So, oops, I grabbed this. Back up. Literally just back up, give yourself a few extra seconds. So, oops, I grabbed this. Really quick, back up, give yourself a few extra seconds, and then do it again. Okay, just literally, see how I just took that front foot and I just switched it to my back? See how I did that? So like that buys me a couple extra seconds. So like just look forward like you normally do, and just buy yourself a few extra seconds. Even if you see how I like even kind of acted like I was stumbling kind of. The point is, the act of me putting my foot behind me, I gain a few extra seconds, and now see how I sink my weight down. I can kind of sink back, and I'm ready to go. Okay, that's the point. You just kind of sink your weight back, and then you're ready to go. Oh, you won't hit a target with that. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. How's that for hitting a target? I didn't realize I would actually knock the whole thing off the table. Do you see how these things get pretty heavy, regardless of them being foam and stuff? That's what you have to rationalize, is like, they are moving fast, man. It don't matter. Yeah. Like, it's still pretty nasty, you know? It's like, yeah. No, I mean, like, obviously there's only so much you can do. So, like, obviously in my hands, it's a bit different than somebody else's hands. But it's still, And then, you know, like a staff. Think about a staff. I'm not gonna get a staff out in here. Okay. Because I'll be trying to I know me. I'll be spinning it around, and the ceiling is too low. I'm not gonna get a staff out in here. But if I had a short staff, I don't know where my short staff is. If I had a short staff, I might, but it's just my staffs are too tall. So about the staff, the point is you can rationalize that, like, you know, if you get into it with somebody wherever you are, you know, if there's a pool table, you have a pool cue. You know, the staff is a pool cue. Just like if you're in the store, you have shovels, rakes, brooms, all kinds of stuff that it's like a staff, where essentially now you've learned a knowledge base on how to defend yourself. You pick something up because somebody has a weapon or something like that, they're trying to come at you with it. Now you can suddenly pick up a distance weapon, keep them at bay with it, maybe whack, you know, disarm them with it. The point is, you've now successfully, you know, gotten a huge skill from picking up, you know, a staff and spinning it around and practicing techniques with it over the years, and can now just pick up whatever, and it becomes a weapon. So, you know, if I just pick up a broom right in the middle of the store, you know, this broom is right in your face immediately. I promise you, the bristles are going straight in your eyes. It's going straight in your eyes, and I'm going to do it at a downward angle. I'm going to probably rake across your face, and I'm probably going to come and hit you in the throat with this, maybe solar plexus. Those are really nasty on the hip, between where the leg separates from the torso. There's a really, really nasty one too, where you can just boom. Okay. Obviously, we know between the legs too, but aside from that, like if you can't reach that, I'm just saying if their foot is forward or something like that, trust me, there's a spot there. You just bump it at the hip. It's their center of gravity usually too. But again, it's amazing what you can do. You know, you can rake across the face, you hit down with whatever weapon they have, and the idea is, boom. You know, the idea is that you've learned the knowledge from the staff now, or this broom just becomes your staff. You know, and you just boom. You know, you're hitting, you're doing stabs, just like you would with your staff, and it's just a broom. And the broom might not survive because you're skilled with the staff now, and the broom is not a staff. So the broom might not survive, and keep your eye out for other brooms along the way. But the point is, yeah, like you know, you have the knowledge base to use this to defend yourself and as you need to. You know, I would recommend, if you have a broom and they have some sort of a knife or something of that nature, exactly what I said before, where like essentially you know, you're screaming, always yell, always yell, be as loud as possible. Hey, there's a man with a knife. Hey, man with a knife. You know, grab your weapon, whatever. And then remember, you know, it's about staying away from him, making him think he can hit you with a knife. So, you know, sometimes you may want to toy with him a little bit and sort of kind of go like this, make him not know what your distance is, and like jump back a lot and stuff like that. Knock stuff off shelves if you're in a store. You know, trip them. The point is, you want to be loud, you want to be seen, you want to get the hell out of there. You don't want to fight somebody. In an actual self-defense situation, that's what I've always taught people. Always, always, always just start using your head, do the right thing. Seriously, in the middle of a self-defense class, that's exactly how I would teach it. You know, essentially, like, start with this concept. And then we might even run drills based on this concept, you know. And you know, just the idea is to be able to be loud, use your surroundings and stuff like that, to be seen and be heard, because that's most of it. Most of it is realizing that in a real situation like that, you don't want to run the risk of trying to defend yourself, getting hit with a blade, anything like that. You don't want to be near that person. You want to be loud and you want to run. These days, there's cameras everywhere, there's people everywhere. And that's what I'd always seriously teach people. Just, you know, that's what you need to remember. But we're going to learn some techniques anyway, you know, and obviously, like, I'd go into certain scenarios, you know, like the overhead, and, you know, the slash, overhead stab, a slash, a stab, all kinds of stuff. We would even go over if somebody had you from behind, had the knife at your throat from behind, things like that. We would go over grabs where they have it in front of you, at your throat, things like that. A lot of that is controlling the hand with the knife first. I'm not gonna give you, again, stuff like that, maybe members only at some point, but again, like, you know, let me just be clear. You wanna treat that respectfully. When somebody has a knife, you know, just, again, be loud, be seen, get the hell out of there. But, you know, all else fails, you control the hand with the knife. Always try to control the hand with the knife. And if you can't control the hand with the knife, you get that person on the ground. Whatever you can do, you blind them, you get them on the ground. The point is, anything that you can do to disorient that person so that they can't use it, whatever it is that they have. That's the concept that you want in your head when you're doing that defense situation. Try to think of something creative, like a different scenario, you know, like something a little bit more creative than just like a store. I'll think of something. But you guys get my point, like, you know, it's you know, Kung Fu is everything. You wanna remember that a lot of this is about understanding concepts and how they relate to real life, and then martial arts too. How that martial arts relates to science and real life concepts. That's what you have to do. You have to do that. If you're not doing that, you're not doing it right, and you're only getting to a certain point. For example, if a very, very simple one, if I didn't understand what leverage was, you know, like if anybody didn't understand what leverage was as a martial artist, do you think you would have, you know, a chance against anybody that's larger than you and stuff like that? No. And not only that, like, you wouldn't be able to complete basic, like, shoulder throws and stuff like that. Things that require leverage. So, like, the point is, like, because you understand what leverage is in your brain, you now can properly fix what you did wrong on your own. If you're doing a shoulder throw or something like that, and you know how to do it, basically, but now you understand leverage, the science of it, and how it relates to that shoulder throw. Now, because you understand the science of that, you can fix your own shit. You're your own teacher, basically. And this is kind of how all martial arts works. And eventually, part of that problem is that a lot of those instructors do learn that concept and do learn how to teach themselves, and then they think that, like they'll leave the school and they think that they know everything and they won't stick with it and just keep going with those same concepts. And so that's actually a lot of what we would see. Is we would see a lot of these guys that they figure that out. As soon as they figure it out, they think they have figured everything out and they don't need to learn anything else. And that's not true. Because I submit to you, if your instructor is 5 years ahead of you with wisdom and instruction, he is 5 years ahead of you. He still has plenty he can show you and help you along the way. You chose to walk away. Meanwhile, he could have offered XXXXX along the way. And it took you now an additional 5 years to get to where he was 5 years ago. Now he's well past that. So maybe he could have helped and get you caught up a little bit, and you could have learned a little bit along the way. That's why I think a lot of these movies that kind of like, you know what I mean? Like the student gets to that point where they understand that concept, how to be self-taught, and it's just a concept. But then the teacher goes, "You don't have anything else to learn from me." And then I'm kind of sitting there wondering to myself, did a real martial artist have anything to do with this? Because I don't think that they get it. No, it's not the case. You're just getting started, man. Now the fun part begins. Yeah, now the point is, now you get that concept, you can be self-taught. You can start bouncing ideas off your instructor. You and your instructor become better together. You start learning together and evolving together, and you start, oh, right, that is how that works. That's really interesting. And I was able to do that too. I was able to do that with my instructor. And the point was that, like, I was able to talk to him about things throughout the years and stuff like that. And, the point was maybe like we get into a discussion about like dragon or something like that. It was only something that him and I would understand. And it was just cool to finally be able to have that level of conversation. And then I just simply ask him something, a very philosophical question. And then all he has to do now is go, that is really interesting. I never thought of it that way. All right, let's try it. And then he just he'll just be like, all right, let's try it. And then like just literally throw a punch at me or something like that. And trust me, he'll actually do it. And then I'll get to actually, because nobody else is they're always gonna be a little timid with Sifu, So like that's the point. He would actually really throw one at me because he was my instructor. So the point was, I was able to actually try things out. And, so the point was, I was able to learn a lot more. You're always going to go downhill because the point is, you're always going to start being around people that are lesser skill level than you. So all these instructors are doing over the years is very slowly lowering their skill level to that of their highest student, their highest ranked student, instead of having spent the time getting to the skill and level they should have to properly have a school and be where they should be. A lot of them, anyway. Not all of them. I'm not saying everybody. There's some really decorated, good instructors out there that know what they're talking about. There really are. It's not like it's everybody. I'm just saying. There's a lot of nonsense. There is. I mean, if if you go to a martial arts school and on the front window, you guys know what I'm gonna say. It's literally like a car dealership. They got every like brand of tire and oil filter and whatever sticker on their window, right? Like obviously for them that makes sense. They're just trying to advertise their brands so that way you know what brands they have. But the point is that's not what martial arts is. You're kind of losing some of that. And so like the point is like it's not speaking for itself. The martial arts isn't speaking for itself. People aren't walking by and seeing people do anything that's really impressive. So they're having to put MMA on the window and like all these kickboxing, like just basically all these things on the window that will essentially, like cause the person to come in where instead of letting the person see the martial arts and see what people are doing inside, you have this big window, you're kind of covering it with styles of martial arts that you're claiming to teach. And so and then like you talk to the instructor, and then it's not even him that teaches all this and breaks it down. It's like, oh no, he's got like 5 other instructors and each one of them teaches, like one of them teaches the kickboxing, and then one of them teaches the Muay Thai, and then one of the other ones teaches the MMA, and the other one teaches the grappling, and not as a single one of them knows all of it all together. That no, nope. So like sometimes that's okay for like I guess if you have a family or something like that and you just like want people, kids to have some discipline or something, that makes sense, I guess, sometimes. But like for adults that are serious about the art and martial arts and stuff like that, practical application, um yeah, I mean you're not gonna get a lot from that. You're not. You're gonna learn some. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna learn something. You're gonna learn some, but you're not gonna. If you actually want true application, real martial arts, real, like where it came from, how to use it. Again, that's you have different instructors teach. It's it's too segmented. It's too this guy doesn't know enough about what he's teaching to understand how it relates to grappling to properly teach the application of it. So therefore, he misses some things when you would ask him some questions about some things. As for this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy that's supposedly teaching these things, so this is the point: is like if they don't understand essentially all of it, there's going to be some things that as they answer questions, they're going to get wrong. You see where I'm coming from? And so that's where you need, in my opinion, that's where I'm coming from, and that's where a lot of this needs. There's a lot of folks out there that aren't taking enough of a respectful tone with their instruction on how they teach martial arts and stuff like that, and don't, in my opinion, learn enough. That's all. Like they just get to a certain point, stop their knowledge base, and then okay, I can teach yada yada yada. No, and then again the same result happens where all these people have all these questions, and then they can never answer it. Or they think they're answering it, and then the person actually gets into it with somebody, does the advice, and the advice doesn't work, and then now you have a student that doesn't have faith in you, leaves the school, something like that. You're talking about, it's like, you need to be able to answer those questions and give good advice. and know that what you have is a solid advice, sound foundation. Well, I do need to get to some laundry. Hopefully you guys appreciated the knowledge that I tried to pass on today to you. Hopefully you appreciate what I tried to pass on today. You know, it's not easy to just sort of kind of give, you know, like you don't, this is a real skill, you know, the you charge people for, you know, and you don't give it away. So I hope you guys appreciate the little bits that you're being allotted to here and there, that I'm trying to give to you guys for being followers of me over the years. Sorry about the loud noise there. Have to warn you about that. So yeah, I hope you guys appreciate it. Again, it's something that's not free. It's like you do charge people, for classes and stuff. I must feed the cat. Oh no. Will you give us a meow? No, no meows today. Just purring. No meows today, just purring. I have to get her food. Get her food. I'll just put you guys there for now. Yep. Gotta get her some food. Does anybody else have some other name, like funny, like weird thing that they like call their cats? You know, like they like you don't call them cats, you call them something else. Like, you know, just to be funny. Does anybody else have one? It's actually a real struggle too for me to actually call them cats because I so regularly use my other word. So like if I would just start saying this word, I feel like people would know what I was talking about. Like, why is he talking about this? Like, what doesn't make any sense? And so I feel like I should at least explain it, you know. So yeah, that's what that is, and it's just you know, very definition of a pet name, you know, obviously. So like, I'm sure plenty of people do that, you know. And then like, so like, yeah, obviously the idea is that it's for some reason oddly fitting. You know what I mean? Like it for some reason it's like oddly fitting. You know what I mean? So for mine, I call them cactuses, and I don't know, for some reason, I think it comes from the fact that cat is almost in that word itself. And they're not cacti, they're cactuses. Because, like, it's funny for some reason to randomly call them cacti once in a while, because we know that's the actual plural of cactus. But cactuses is funnier for some reason, because you know that's incorrect. So, like, that's why it's funny, because it's cacti, not and also, they're not cactus, they're just cats. So, like, it's just layers of comedy, basically, just random comedy. But the point is, like, you have all those layers of comedy. The point is, it's that much funnier when you say cactus. So I just call them that. And sometimes I also, like, envision, like, when I'm looking at them and they're, like, laying there, like, all peaceful, like, you know how sometimes the cats will just, like, sort of kind of, like, lay there like this. And they're just laying there. Sometimes I just kind of like envision, you know, like sort of like a cartoon, like the cat or whatever fades into an object and then fades back. You know, like the person's like imagining that this this cat is a cactus, you know. So like that's what it does is like sometimes I'll be looking at my cat and it's just like I just see like you know like a happy cute cactus up here like and her even her fur kind of looks like you know the quills sticking out of cactus, you know, just you know it's almost like a creative you know like sort of like cartoon mind almost, you know. The things that way, I think. But the point is, like, it's funny, you know. So that's why, in case you heard me, like, say cactus or something, and you're like, why is he saying cactus? I'm talking to my cat. Hey, you. Yeah, most of the time I just call them cactus. That's it. There you go. Here you go. Chicken. Here you go. Oh, shit. I can't believe I told you guys that, but oh well. It's funny either way. They are cactuses. That is what they are. That is what they are. Where's my drink? Hold on. I must finish. So I gotta dry my shirts. And I'll probably iron them. Which iron them this time. I don't need ironed every time, but they're bad now. They're getting bad. I don't iron them like every time or anything. I'm not like that, you know, all that about it. But like, yeah, once in a while, they start to get ruffled, frumped up a bit, you know. These shirts that you guys see me have. That's, that I put in the laundry. They're nice shirts, but you know, you gotta iron them once in a while. So they're just in the dryer for like a little bit. Yeah, to get them dry enough. You know, iron them. Yeah, because I don't normally like dry them in the dryer. Normally, like, yeah, I mean, because like that's the point. Like, it's just, but I can't iron them when they're it's like wet or anything. So, and they would take a bit to hang dry. So. But they're fine on low. They're fine on low. It's not that detrimental to this pretty normal fabric. If it was like a special blend or something like that, I would pay attention to that. But they're fine on low for now. Again, it's a once in a while thing. I do it when again I'm gonna iron them or something. It's generally I hang dry them, generally speaking, because they'll retain their colors and stuff too. You guys know that, right? Shirts retain their colors when you hang dry. like the some detergents are definitely better with maintaining colors, and they know that. But like regardless, you're still always going to have some sort of degrade quality and stuff. A lot of that's the dryer, because you're heating up the fabric. Like there's only so much you can do when you're heating up the fabric. It's heat. Yeah. Do you ever wonder why, like, sometimes the inside, like, you ever look at the inside of your drum? Does anybody have a white drum that you can look at? I know sometimes you black or gray drum. You have a white drum, you look inside your dryer. Sometimes you'll see blue lines and stuff. That's probably dye from your jeans. Like, there's just so much blue dye on your jeans and stuff. Do you ever notice that? It's just dye, probably, from your jeans. You know what I mean? Like, because, like, your jeans are just... Think about how much, I remember, like, watching some sort of episode on how it's made or something like that, and like, they were talking about, like, jeans and dyeing jeans and stuff, but there's just so much dye in jeans. DYE, by the way. Dye, DYE. And so there's just so much of it to actually color the jeans. So I did a little bit of something to share with you guys as a little experiment, and I don't know if you'll notice it. It doesn't look too noticeable now that I'm on stream. Okay, so when I bleached my hair this past time, you guys can't even, you can't really tell, because I do usually do a pretty good job of, like, working it in, but I intentionally left this side. So basically what I did was I wanted to work in the bleach everywhere, but then, like, really work it in on this side so that you could notice how well it was blended on this side, and then not as much on this side, so that it was a little bit darker on this side, so that you could actually see it was a slight shade darker on this side than this side, to kind of try to, like, paint the picture of essentially what happens, I think, when a lot of folks try to dye their hair, or I'm sorry, bleach their hair. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the time I think that what people do, where they go wrong, is they don't wash it out enough. They don't wash it, like they flat out do not wash it out enough. You have to wash your hair for a while. Really wash that bleach out. And they don't actually work it in enough. Because with just like with hair dye, like the process in which it's changing the color of the hair is happening from the friction and movement and stuff of the chemicals of what you're doing with those chemicals, with friction and stuff. Like, that's the point. Like, you're creating that reaction to cause that to color your hair. And that's the way that the hair dye works a lot of the time too. So what I've definitively noticed is like, essentially that you can accidentally, like, just like not work it in enough or something like that in one section, and really mess it up. So just, again, I want you don't even really notice it that much, but the whole point was to show you. But there's the tip. There's the tip anyway, if you want the tip. And I've noticed it, for sure. When I first did it, I really messed up. You guys probably noticed that I end up doing the back pretty well, and I think that's probably what people notice, is like, wow, he actually does the back. A lot of people miss the back. So that was my first time doing it. Yeah, I messed up too. First time doing it, I definitely There was like one spot where I just didn't for some reason get it, and I saw it one day and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of looked colored like that for about a week now. Okay, so yeah, now I'll know. Now I'll know. And that's the whole point is when as soon as I realized where it was, I realized how I did it. I realized, oh, okay, it was the way I was reaching to do it. I see now. I see what I was doing. So, the point is that for some reason this one section I barely like. I know I put it all over my hair, but I barely worked it in the one section because of the way I was reaching behind my head. So like the point is, the tip is that you're gonna not focus on the sections that are less obvious, if that makes sense, in awkward places. So just realize that you know, you don't take for granted a mirror, getting another mirror or something like that, setting it up so that you can do it, or you know, essentially just also thinking about the back of your head when you're doing it and stuff like that, and actively think about how long each area that you're working that product in to actually do what it's supposed to do to change the color of the hair. So that's the tip, just so that you know, just a free tip for you. I'm sure 365 would tell you the same thing. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he would disagree with me. I don't know. But that's just what I've noticed for me. So, um, it's still good. It's a little watered down at this point because it's like a lot of ice at the bottom, but it's still good. They're probably actually almost dry enough, to be honest with you. Check. There's not that many of them in there, so like it really doesn't take that long. I don't want to overdo it either. Yeah, you don't want to like over dry it. The little bit I use the dryer on those shirts, I would rather not over dry them. Changes the integrity of the fabric. True story. Yeah, just I'm really particular about how the collar looks. It just there's like, does anybody else have the same thing? Like you try to, because I don't know. It's just like I think it's from like all the polo shirts over the years that I had, where the collars just got messed up and looked messed up just because you folded the shirt or something, and or was in the dryer a certain way, and now it's like bent weird and stuff. It's like for some reason now I really need my collars to be straight and look a certain way, and you know, like actually like look nice and be straight. You know, it's the same with my polos too. I just can't. If it's like all sticking up and yeah, I gotta just it's gotta be a certain way. It's just a thing. I don't know. Yep, just has to look a certain way. I don't know.
the sun has set. An endless stream with nothing left. Also from lost friends. Yeah. Never know just where they're at. What is good? Yeah, yeah. Hardships we endure. Yeah, yeah. Black and white. It's just like an endless stream of random video game music, Black Label Society songs, Disturbed songs, and all kinds of shit going through my head at random times. You want to know what's in my head? Music. Yeah, like if generally speaking, that's what's in my head. Like, what's he thinking about? Music. That is 95% of what is going on in my head, just round the clock. Music, 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 music. Yeah, 95% what's going on in my head. This is all I think about is music. Pretty much. Just non-stop music. That's it. That's all that's going on through my head. It's just music. All the time. Black Label Society, Disturbed. Ozzy. Seven Dust. Killswitch Engage. Sabbath in my head too sometimes. Zeppelin. Foo Fighters. Offspring. Five Finger Death Punch. Green Day. Listen to everything, man. Linkin Park. I'm glad people are finally being nice to her. It's so fucked up. Or people are just like, just get over it already. Like, I do not understand being mean and
nasty to somebody, especially like you have to like. That's a very hard thing to do, you know. Like essentially, they're always gonna find some reason to dislike her just because it was, you know, like that's the point. Is like it's a hard, you know, because the people that just want to throw shade and stuff like that are gonna find every reason to. It's not because they actually, you know, like that. It's just, you know, the band decided to move on if they want to move on. It's that simple, you know? And she's getting paid to do a position, and she's really good at it. And she's really nice, I think. It was really cool to see her do a video with Mike and everything. Apparently, I'm out of time though. I apologize. I did not realize that. So I better be going. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much.